Hey, good evening, everybody. We thank you again and excited, truly excited again to have you guys on the Black Belt Experience. Uh, just excited about another week. And gents, how y'all doing? What's going on with you?
Chilling. Life is
Hey
good.
man, I'm
Till I
good.
see, hey, hey, Doug Robert Taylor took it back to 88, 89. He got that Puma.
Track jacket.
Hey, look at that track day.
Man, I ain't seen no Puma. I ain't even see the shoes, man. It's been a while since I seen that.
Man, I got a few. Hey, I got the Puma been back, man. I know I got a few pair of Pumas. They got I know in Kansas City they got them at they got a Puma store at the outlet. Them Puma shoes real comfortable now. They are their comeback has been like on the running side. I know they have some players that do for like basketball, but they've been coming back real strong. We got people coming in now, man. Look, we got 9 inches of snow last night up here. I'm gonna make sure Robert Tab gets some of that. Miss Alice Lawson said, "Good evening, everyone." Rodney, what's going on? He said, "Good evening, all. Good evening to you, Rodney." Mary Jo Wiggins said, "Good evening, guys." Miss Deborah Perkins said, "Good evening." Miss Dorothy Jones tuning in from Tucson, Arizona. She said, "Good evening." Miss Sheila Hall, how you doing? Hey, Mom, how you doing? Miss Elaine Hall, good evening to you. Miss Rhines, Miss Claretha Rhines, good evening to you. Miss Shirley Shepherd, good evening. Francis Gray, hey guys. She said, "Hey guys, man," and we really are glad and happy that you guys continue to support us. We don't take this lightly because you guys mean a lot to us. You guys do really mean a lot to us, and we got a lot of love from the Black Belt, and we just want to make sure that we continue to let people know where we at. Let people know not only that we support you and we appreciate you, but we're going to continue to advocate for what's best for the community, and that's what we're here to do. So Duck said, "Good evening to all the faithful Black Belt Experience viewers." That's his weekly plug, man, and do want to just start before we get off and get into our conversations. I want to start with our sponsors. Sponsors of the Black Belt Chemist Corners Creation, which is owned and operated by Kimberly Evans. If you got any ideas, I mean, any ideas on anything, I mean, she does it all. I mean, I'm talking about from custom made outfits to t-shirts to shoot to face masks to whatever socks. I mean, anything you want, you got an idea, reach out to her. You can reach her on here on Facebook as Kimmy's Corners Creation or to her website at www.kimmyscornerscreation.com. Next, we have the T-shirt bar, which is owned and operated by Lakeisha Davis, both located in Demopolis, Alabama, as well as in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. If you have any ideas for any T-shirts, you want to get some T-shirts made, some sweatshirts, if you got anything that you want to do, I'm talking about down from the smallest number to the biggest number, that biggest quantity that you need, reach out to the T-shirt bar. You will not be disappointed. Next, we have the Man of Valor, Greensboro, Alabama. They continue to do great things. We always celebrate them. Very proud of what they've been doing in the community. They're gearing up for the third annual Juneteenth celebration in Greensboro, downtown Greensboro, Alabama. So they're doing some things with that, and we share some information on that. So make sure you support that and let them know that you heard us talking about them here on the Black Belt Experience. Next, we have a Southern Bite restaurant, which has been owned and operated now for yesterday was officially a month. They opened the grand open on February the 18th. So they've been open officially a month, and man, them pictures and everything I've been seeing, they have soul food days. They opened at like 3 o'clock in the morning. So they're a great spot right there on Greensboro Avenue next to the T-shirt bar. If you got the munchies and you want some good food, make sure you go there. Next, we got a new sponsor. We want to give it the sweetest things. The sweetest things. It is operated by Katrina Chambers. Shout out to Katrina Chambers, living in Demopolis, Alabama, but also a graduate, alumni of the Sunshine High School. If you want to reach out to her, the sweetest things on Facebook page. She sell clothes and accessories. I'm very affordable, very nice. I'm waiting on my packet to be shipped off. I'm already supporting her, so make sure you go check that out. The sweetest things. If you see it scrolling down on the bottom, The Sweetest and Things is spelled THINGZ. The Sweetest Things. So let her know when you reach out. Let her know that you heard it here on the Black Belt Experience. And we just like to support it. And this is what I would say this. Out of all of the sponsors that we have, the business owners are Black females that's from the Black Belt. So shout out to, especially we celebrating Women History Month. So I just want to give a shout out to all of the women in the Black Belt entrepreneur spirits. They're doing their thing. So want to give a shout out to them. Miss Carolyn Richards said, "Good evening, guys." And Shaylon said, hey. So, man, what's going on besides this 9 inches of snow we got last night up here? What's going on with y'all?
Hey, Shell, let me say this, man. I'll be glad when you get out of the military so you can blend in with us, man. You ain't got no beard. You ain't got no beard, no mustache, man.
Hey, I got a little fuzz going over the weekend. You see the little gray creeping in on that. But, man, I don't know about that beard, man. I tried to grow it out, man. That thing, hey, when you first growing it out, that thing, it itch, man. What?
Hey, man, you got to stay hid for some months. You got to stay hid for a month or two, man.
Hey, so, man, we just want to go ahead on and kick it off, man. I know we got a lot of stuff that's been going on in the Black Belt, man, and I'm gonna start this thing off right tonight, man. Now, and then I'm gonna throw a little alley hoop later, but man, I'll tell you, boy, that done Perry County, boy, that Perry County county commission is something serious, boy. I tell you, it's something serious. And I would tell you, if you get a chance to watch some videos or just how they go about business in there, you can see that it's really sad, and you can see why the county is in a lot of ways the way that it is, because we got people that are more, I would say, more dedicated to the shenanigans or the political or conducting political shenanigans than to conduct things in decency and in order. I know that on Albert Turner's Facebook page, he made a post that Perry County got notified by the state that they had to redraw their districts due to, I guess, some changes in the population. And he appointed himself and somebody else on the committee to oversee redrawing the districts. And I would just say, with everything that's going on, I don't know what the bylaws are that suggest that, but just for optics, I wouldn't put myself on that, especially with all the alleged things that's going on. And I know that the alleged, and I would say alleged, that has been reported by for felony voter fraud that Albert Turner is currently under, and I know that he has aggressively denied it and said that wasn't him. And I know that was what actually went on during the county commissioner meeting. I mean, and I know we saw some videos, man, but I would just say from that, man, I'm tired of seeing that. Like, it should be productive. We should have a productive government that we elect people that will operate with some sense and not always act the same way. And just it's sad watching, man. What y'all got to say about that? I know y'all saw some of the same videos I saw. What y'all got to say about that?
I'm gonna let my you gotta let your elder speak first. Go ahead, bro. Tab.
Well, I Perry County, I had opportunity to sit in on some of the meetings they have over there with the water board and stuff, and it's a shame that it didn't even razzle my dazzle, because that's how they carry on over there. That's why, for me, I'm in complete agreement with Robert. I don't know how you can get anything done with all this hollering and shouting and all this foolishness you have in front. While people are holding phones and cameras, they are. You're being taped, and you still don't know how to conduct yourself like civilized, like the people that we put you in office to be. You're supposed to be a leader. You can't even conduct yourself like you got good sense. With a camera in your face, that shows me that you don't care. and it's a reflection on the community, and that's why everything is over there deteriorating. It's a mess, but it's not surprising because all the meetings are like that. Just a shame.
And I don't think people really understand what we're talking about. Like you know, like you can tell, you can feel the tension in the room. You can feel the unwillingness to really work for a common goal. And there's so many egos that's in there that's really what's frustrating for me. You should be able to come in and conduct business. Doug, you got anything you want to say?
Hey, I'm gonna go ahead on and say something. I was gonna try to wait, man, but I've been lost my train of thought. Hey, yo, this right here to you and Brother Tab. First, to you, Chef. He haven't been proven guilty of anything, so I don't see why he would not appoint himself to whatever position he feels that he should be on, or if the people appoint him. He has not been found guilty, and if he know he haven't done anything, put yourself on there. Put yourself on there. Now it'll be something different if he had did something. He know he had did something. I don't think he would. Well, I'm not gonna say what I think, but he wouldn't have appointed himself on there. And then, too, Brother Tab, you say that this is how they act over there. They act a bigger fool up here in Birmingham, but they still get stuff accomplished. So it's so it. No, go ahead and say what you're about to say.
Well, I was like, because nothing get accomplished. That's the problem. We equally disagree right here on this panel on a lot of stuff. And then at the end, once the conversation is over, then it's done. We don't have no egos. You know, yes, we do. All of us got a little bit of ego, but it don't influence what our mission here. Our mission is to give information to the people and try to give it as accurate and positive, and be a catalyst for the ones that
I'm not going to disagree with you about that. I'm so far as the egos and nothing get accomplished. But though, just because there's a lot of noise in the room, that don't mean you can't get nothing accomplished. But I see what you're saying. They ain't getting nothing accomplished. But again, though, man, I would say until Mr. Turner has been found guilty, put yourself on the boards, man. Put yourself on.
Guilty, then he couldn't put himself on the board. He'd be in jail.
But this my thing, Doug, what I'm saying about that is this is how you need to operate. I'm being honest with you. As a leader, and I'm talking about somebody being a commander in the military, everything ain't about you.
I agree with that.
You got other people that can do certain things, but then when you get your ego come in and it always got to be about you, listen, this is a quote that I shared on my page, and it resonated with me. And the reason why it resonated with me is because of the not only the authenticity of it, but how it's hitting right on board to what reacts. And it said that poor leadership is building a great team and doing everything you can to hold on to control. No leader can build a great culture without trust, right? And this is what I'm speaking on in that aspect. If you look, and I'm just going off of what is put out there, what is socialized by, a lot of it comes from Albert Turner from his page.
What makes you think that Albert don't trust somebody? I'm saying, what have he done?
Listen, let me get done on this. Everything comes out that's on his page is about what he's done, and anything that is wrong, he passed the blame on Hudson administration, prior administrations. I have yet to see one time that he said, this is on my watch, this was my fault, and I'm responsible for it. And that is what I'm speaking on as far as from a leadership perspective. When they talk about having to redraw the lines, redrawing the lines and influence, Ms. Adolph Jones said, where's the hat at? But we're talking about redrawing the lines and influencing the political layout of Perry County. Everything don't have to be with Albert Turner's signature on there.
So here's the reason why he got to be a part of that. Because it helps his people to stay in office, man. and he can go out there and fudge a little bit left and fudge a little bit right, just for reassurance that his people will still get the same vote. It happened all the time. Look at what happened in Greensboro.
But I understand that, but that's perpetuate why in the Black Belt we continue to have this done over the last 30 years, and why 8 of the 10 poorest counties in the state of Alabama are from the Black Belt, because we continue to do this same thing and not working about what's the best interest, but we work on what is in the best interest for me and mine, not what's the best interest for the whole. So
the people.
Whole for the people. So continuing to advocate for political power only leads to the downfall of the majority, while a select few really acting like they're getting some, but they're only getting pennies, man. While other people outside of the Black Belt making millions and millions of dollars and benefiting off of it, but the Black Belt ain't. That's
but then too, Rochelle, but then too, we sit up here and we blame Albert, and so we pretty much blame him, but what about the people that's following him when he's not doing right? I mean, when he's making piss poor decisions and bad decisions, we gotta blame them too. Now, by no means, I don't want y'all to think that I'm for Albert or that I'm against him. But at some point in time, the blind can't lead the blind. Do you blame the blind man who's leading, or you blame the ones who follow him? Which is worse?
Listen, I blame everybody for continuing to perpetuate that through voting for it and letting people stay in office. That I blame the people, more so the people that don't exercise their civil rights to vote, because that allows people to stay in office. Because guess what? Those who are gonna vote.
I'm talking about the other commissioners that's on board.
But this is what I'm saying. With that Perry County thing, Perry County is a majority vote commission. That's how they got it set up, to where they got 5 commissioners. And what tends to happen is 2 commissioners that tend to vote with Albert Turner, which always give them the majority, and then Senator Eaton and Senator Hudson will usually vote against. Now, what people don't realize is when you go and you start to look at some of those things that are put out there, it is the misinformation campaign that's put out there. For example, they will go, they'll put in there about the storm shelters, right? And they'll put on there, after they have the meeting, hey, Commissioner Hudson and Commissioner Eaton voted against storm shelters. But that is not really accurate on what is being reported, because they passed the vote to get the storm shelters, but it'll be 3-2 because those 2 other commissioners tend to vote with Albert Turner. And it's been like that since he's been appointed as the chairman. My thing with all of this is everything should be done for the betterment of the overall Perry County. I got it. You have political affiliations. You have political responsibility to the constituents of the district. But at the end of the day, it should be about what's in the best interest. Now, Duck, there's a lot of other stuff that's been going on, like contracts being awarded to stuff that ain't been voted on. And then now when you started looking at all of this stuff, be like, wait a minute, why was this done? Like, and then you start to ask yourself a question, and I'm gonna throw this out there, Duck. And I'm not saying nothing wrong was done, but what I do want to point out is how things look, right? How things look. Perry County got a problem with trash. Had a problem with trash pickup. You have a company who starts itself in July. That's when they file for their LLC. Get awarded the contract by the county without the whole board voting for it. And then watch this. After that, the next year, that same company that got awarded the contract got awarded a loan to get a trash truck, which a certain individual on the county commission sits on the board that awarded the loan.
See, that's called playing politics. That's politics at its finest. I don't have nothing against people who do decide to play politics. But though, if you're gonna play politics, play it for the people too.
But let
the people be able to win as well. It can't just be about you.
You've been playing politics for 20 plus years and ain't nothing got better. It just continue to get worse. Then what we just gonna keep doing, saying it's okay to play politics?
Well, we could sit here and talk till we blue in the face, man. But until some younger people, man, till some younger people step up and say, "Hey, man, I don't like the direction that my city or my county is going." Man, let's get some people together so that we can create a movement, not a moment, but create a movement so that we can get rid of these people, so that we can take our city, our county, or town in a direction that is best for our kids and grandkids. Because right now, the direction that is going, and it's nothing against the older people, but it's like the older people, they don't live their time, and they really don't have that drive. So it's going to take some young people, some young mind to get up and remove these individuals out of office who's not doing that. It's going to take some young people to start a movement down there in Perry County.
Well, also,
but a lot of the young people getting away from down there.
What'd you say, Larry?
A lot of young people getting away from down there because of the foolishness. Ain't no jobs, stuff going crazy. So I'm gonna make sure that me and my family can have better instead of staying in a situation that ain't changing.
But no, let me say
then
this.
The young people that do remain there don't vote.
But let me say this without touching on to one of our subjects. It's gonna have to take some people that have a love for the city. Just like Nehemiah did. Just like Nehemiah did in the book of Nehemiah. It's going to take some young people or young individual to start a spark, to have a love for the city to come back. But unfortunately, just because you have a love for the city, it don't always
mean the city gonna love you back. It don't mean the city gonna love you.
Right. But though, if you have a team, just like I can't do nothing but keep mentioning their name. But just like our Campaign 2000 did, along with Shep them daddy, they came into Greensboro and changed the whole dynamic, man. But once them people got through, man, like everything began to change. Everything over. And that's what it's gonna take down there for Perry County, Uniontown, and Marion, and the rest of the counties. It's gonna take.
But they got a team. That's why stuff staying like it is.
Who is this? No. What team you talking about, Albert?
It's a team in place. That's why they blocking everything and keeping everything like they got their own team. And when your team ain't got more money than their team, it's hard to compete with other teams.
Okay. Now let me show you this. It's strength in numbers. I don't think I've heard of a team down there, but people will give donations, man. That's how a lot of the movements back in the days got supported. People was donate money.
But this
they ain't doing that no more.
This is what has happened, right? The apathy of the voting population has enabled this issue within the Black Belt to continue to perpetuate for the last 20 some years. What choose Campaign 2000, a lot of those people got in office, and then they got in office and they got comfortable.
And they changed the motive. They changed the purpose.
That's for Hale County and Perry County, because Albert was a part of Campaign 2000 as well.
But and that's what I'm saying. So they got in there. So once they got in there, they realized how this can sustain my livelihood. Not about how making the community better. Because think about this. How many big industries, think about the job, what you said, that plant that was in Marion, Laramie, that left?
CT South.
CT South.
CT South left. Harvest Select, the fish plant in Greensboro left. Southern Pride left. And I'm talking about all of this. And I tell people this all the time. When I was stationed at Fort Hood, Southern Pride was selling over there at Albertson in Killeen, Texas, in the grocery store.
They was out west too.
So when we started, I'm just right now at Fort Kanaka Sausage down there in Kanaka County, they got a contract with DECA, the commissary, and they up here in the commissary, up at Fort Drum. They was out at Leavenworth. They're at Fort Riley. So they got the point that I'm saying is those are jobs. When I see that, those are jobs people can have. We're not talking about jobs. We're talking about the same old things. And then we get younger folks, or we get quote unquote different folks, but they really cut from the same cloth because they don't have integrity. They get in these positions and they compromise their integrity by following the status quo. That's why you don't see nothing really being done. I'm telling you, Doug. Look at Utah. Look at Akron. look at what you get when you get people in office that are about making the community better. You'll start to see things change, not just rhetoric. And then when you get in office. Go ahead.
What y'all just said was the key thing. One of y'all mentioned the money. The people in Utah got people behind them with money. That's how they're able to go in and do what they need to do. Campaign, huh?
No, the people in Utah.
They got people.
Listen to what I'm saying, Doug. They got in. They got good people. They got Chief Johnson. They got Mayor Johnson. What I'm saying is and guess what she did when she first got in there? She came in. They did an audit. The same thing in Akron. They did an audit. Matter of fact, they got the state to come in and they ain't even had to pay for it. And they start holding people accountable for stuff that wasn't right. And they was transparent. Say, hey, look, this is our budget for the year. They even put it out there. This is our budget. This is what we project. And they throughout the year, they've been updating people on what their plans are and what they're doing. And hey, this is the change, people informed. Even when they replacing a water main or something like that, they keeping people informed. You seeing those changes coming. You're seeing the fruits of their labor, right? I would say this. Valeda said Albert Turner Jr. has never been a part of Campaign 2000.
Well, they supported him. Listen. They rubbed off on him because they supported him. Did they support him? Actually, did they ever support him?
I don't know.
Ask her.
That's something she can answer. I don't know. You can ask Ms. Valeda. Did Campaign 2000 ever support Albert Turner Jr.? Now, I would say this, that's a lot of the issues what we talked about, this straight ticket voting stuff. That's why I have an issue with it. Because guess what? This leads us to the next topic we want to talk on, because there was a lot of people that was on straight ticket voting on the school boards that was in around our area. We ain't hear nothing. Matter of fact, 80% of the people that ran for the school board, I didn't even know they were running.
Didn't see a sign on then. Didn't see a sign on then. No advertising.
Yep. So and with that, Valeda said we supported him when he ran against Ralph Howard. They said they supported him and not Howard. So that answers your question, Doug. But with that being said, the school board, and that plays a lot of role because Alabama got a crazy law. Especially when we already hurting for retaining teachers, and we got a lot of stuff going on. Alabama got a law where if you're not tenured, and I think you get tenured after your third year. Is that correct, Mama? Correct. You get tenured after your third year. Alabama got a law where they don't even have to give you a justification. They can release you from your contract. I would tell you it happened to my niece when she was at Greensboro. She was let go, was there, started making an impact, started having an impact on these kids' lives, and young, new coming in. And, certain people start probably getting, people start fighting and, feeling threatened that their jobs were being gone. And my niece was let go. Now she's doing great down there in Linden. But right now, Laramie, is it true that Uniontown, R.C. Hatch, is not retaining Coach Lewis as their football coach after 1 year being there?
That is correct. Taking them to the playoffs his first year. He got hired in July. Football season started when August. He didn't have time to do nothing but cut the field and stuff. And they made the playoffs his first year there. Made an impact.
So what do you know about that whole situation?
Well, it's been a lot of allegations surrounding Coach Lewis. I know him personally. Awesome young man. He was one of my mentees. I guess you could say I supported him when he was in high school. When he signed to go to Florida, I was there to support that. But to hear him want to come back to the black belt right from over Utah and have the mindset to where a lot of people from our area moved because our area didn't have the resources. They had the abilities, but so they went to other schools to get that, to get that notoriety so that they could go off, to these bigger colleges. But he got the mindset, I hope he still got it, I want to come back to an area I come from to where kids don't have to leave to get opportunities, to where I can help bring opportunities to the area. it's very seldom young people want to come back to places like that to give back, to bring about that change, so that we won't lose good quality student athletes going to these other schools just to get notoriety. So once he get there, there were allegations that came out that he supposedly was caught with a teacher, which was not true. That lie was brought about from another teacher. The allegations weren't true because they still retained him. The female teacher he's supposed to got caught with, she's still there. Recently there was an incident with a student who was skipping class. He asked the student to leave the gym several times. The student leaves, come back with another class, still acting unruly. He writes the student up. The teacher called the parents. Parents come up to the school. Allegedly, the mother of the child is already trespassed from the school, but she finds her way to Coach Lewis and raising all kind of sand. Security guard ain't nowhere to be seen at this moment. Allegedly he in the gym playing basketball somewhere. The lady was allegedly arrested. He was put on leave with pay as they do their investigation. Now there are cameras in the school. Allegedly, the assistant principal tried to get another teacher to falsify a letter saying that Coach Lewis had to be restrained during this issue. The teacher refused to falsify a letter to incriminate Coach Lewis by acting out of character. He maintained his character. During his leave with pay, an investigation is supposed to have taken place, allegedly. The board changed their meeting not once, not twice, but 3 times. I think our good friend Portia showed up for one of the meetings, and then she's like, "Oh, they ain't even having a meeting tonight." But they changed the meeting 3 times. Why you changing the meeting 3 times? Anywho, AEA got involved, sent an attorney to come down as well. Students came, they locked the students, the parents out. We didn't let them come into the board meeting. The principal nor the assistant principal was there. Now, if I'm being on trial for doing something, should my first line leaders be there to either speak on my behalf or against me?
Yeah.
Why is it the principal or the assistant principal there? Just the board there. The board would not allow the AEA attorney to speak. Say you're not on our agenda, but I'm here to represent my client who y'all want to terminate, but don't really have no real cause. What was the finding of your investigation? There was no finding within their investigation, but yet because he's not tenured, I don't have to tell you. But if you're doing an investigation on somebody, you have to let them know the findings of your investigation. And I think that's a law that needs to be changed simply because he wasn't getting in no trouble at the school. No trouble whatsoever. He made an impact, not just in the classroom, outside the classroom. And all of a sudden, and I'm surprised at the board members, because some of the board members was on the board when I was pastoring in Perry County at the time, and I had to come to a couple of board meetings with concerning some issues. But I'm surprised with them allowing the superintendent, I think her name is Smiley, to forego this termination without real proper cause, but use that, you're not tenure type thing. That has to stop, especially when you already short of teachers anyway. You get somebody that's gonna come in and does an awesome job his first year, but then you let him go when he really could have been an asset, not just to the school, but to the community as a whole. I just got an issue with that, and we wonder why it's hard to get teachers, especially our own. And we all know teachers from our area that left and doing awesome things in other areas when they could have been utilized right here in their hometown. But like I said, you can love home all day, but when home don't love you, you can love the black belt. But when the black belt don't love you back, what's the point of coming back? I got a heart to come back to Greensboro. I mean, really got a heart to come back to Greensboro, but it's politics and everything. And politicking is what is killing our community, because politics don't care nothing about people.
Larry, the thing that you said that's really upsetting to me was, I understand that, they may not have been on the agenda, but if the school board is there for the best interest of the kids and you have kids and parents there, you should at least amend that agenda to at least let them speak. I'm dead serious, just to let them speak. And we talked about this 2 years ago in Greensboro. We talked about this in the aspect of about how that state law is there, that they don't have to give a reason, but why sometimes it's real good, it's better off to kind of give an explanation, because there's a lot of things that happen with that. A lot of sacrifice, and I'm not even just talking about on Coach Lewis aspect. I personally don't know him. My interaction with him is just been through the talks that you've had. I saw him play at Florida his senior year. It was senior day that I was there. I went to that game down there in the swamp. And I personally don't know him, but he was the head football coach for my cousin. My cousin's son was on this football team this year, and I seen the difference that he made and the impact that he made just with those boys. And when we continue to do that, it caused a lot of issues in the black belt, especially if the situation involved the parent who was already banned for coming on campus and came on campus in the first place. Because at the end of the day, let's just be honest. Like, we can keep talking about this all day, man. Like, listen, yeah, I'm a preacher and I get all that, but somebody keep running up on you. You think you're gonna be blessed and highly favored. You know what I'm saying? You got a way to protect yourself. And we got to stop thinking. And these parents, and guess what? And I want to say this: if that is true, Larry, that she came on campus and came to confront him, it doesn't matter if you're a male or female. It's the same way how you handle business. Because sometimes we got to look at this. Your goddamn kid be wrong a lot of times, and we feel like we're going to come up there and just tell these teachers how it is, and your kid dead wrong.
Right.
Especially when you know you raising a hoopla, man. Mr. Brunson was that.
They know it. They know how they act at home. They talk to them.
Can't do that with them at home. Can't do that with them on your own time.
And they got the other teachers, you know, like in an uproar because that situation, you know, these kids unruly. We got to deal with them. We can't say nothing to them. They got their cell phone. They could call their parents, and the parents just walk up in the school, don't check in at the office at any given moment. You know, they could have had a gun, could have did anything to this young man, and you know, and the administration don't back the teacher.
Yeah, so
that's a hard position to be in.
Hey, let me ask this, Larry. Who is the what's the word I'm looking for of the board members? I'm saying, it's the board member, because after I done heard about this story, it sounds like the board members them are incompetent.
I'm not gonna say
just let me say this, Larry. Here's why I say that. Because what was the finding of your investigation? If he was found guilty, then why is the teacher still working? Come on, the teacher was never fired. The teacher that been there, she was never fired. So why was he fired? That's what I said. There's some incompetent there, and then it could very well be like the case, like Shep said earlier, like they had in Greensboro. Did this guy ever pack the stadium? Did he ever pack the football stadium while he was coaching?
They were supporting him. They were supporting the team. They were winning. I don't believe Hatch ever really won like that before.
So he was bringing money there.
Yeah.
That could very well be another reason.
Allegedly, football bought in $20,000 in tickets from the football game. Allegedly.
And when once he started asking for more money to build the stadium and so he could support the players and do this and do that, they're gonna get rid of him anyway. Because people that has been in position for all them years and ain't been doing that, they don't like to be questioned about how they do stuff. This is how we've been doing it. This is how we're going to continue to do it. Just like you said one time before, they're afraid of a culture change. Just like, let me touch on it, no offense, but just like churches are the same way. They are afraid of culture change because this is how we've been doing it and we ain't fixing to change. Then guess what God going to do? He going to do just like he did the children of Israel. You going to die out. God is going to get his change one way or another. Either it be through you or over you.
Well, you know, they said they made Demetrius Lewis said that they made $20,000 during football season. And
that's a lot of money, man.
But I'm not just, for me, it's about the impact, man. Like, and I'm being honest with you, it's about the impact. It's about the hope. It's about showing these kids. It's about having something different. Like, that's why, you know, like a lot of people was clowning Coach Johnson in Greensboro this year because of their record, and everybody had something negative to say almost every week. My thing is, since he's been there, there's been more kids signed to play college football on a football scholarships than their whole entire time in about 10 years while we were there. And guess what? We had way more talent. But guess what? Now they bring in combines. They got kids getting seen. They got a lot of different things going on. And it's about those kids. And I see a difference in those kids' eyes because those kids see, like, you know what? I got a shot. If Coach Lewis can play at Florida and start while he was at Florida, I got a chance. I can go do that. Man, just think about it. And I'm speaking from a perspective of the more you're exposed to, the better that you'll see about what you have. The opportunities you have, or the better you see yourself against what you go up with. Because the best thing that happened to me was, man, when I got out there to this world, I realized, like, man, them cats can't hang with me. Like, man, I was prepared to excel. And what also pissed me off too was the same cats we was dogging on the football field, Duck, Laird, and Robert. Every time we playing them on Friday night, we dogging them. Them same guys, because of the school they went to, because of the resources they had, they played at SEC schools. But you mean to tell me that Charles Moncho wasn't good enough? You mean to tell me that Lil David wasn't good enough? You mean to tell me that Clevell? You mean to tell me all them cats that we played with wasn't good? Flu Shoe got done. Patrick.
Y'all see
what I'm saying?
Give him a pass. Give him a pass, Duck. Give him a pass, Duck. Give him a pass.
No, I will not give him a pass. Listen, they might have been good enough, but what about the academic side? And then to Laramie, let me respond to what you said, though, Laramie. How did the rumor get started? Did you ever say how did the rumor get started? How did I'm saying who started the accusation?
Another employee started the accusation, started the rumor. But you got a lot of coaches that come in, and it's rare that they actually sew into the program themselves. They spend money out of their pocket. They're already making no money. But when they sewing in themselves, you know, you got your family, his mom and grandmama coming all the way from Utah, tell who's cooking food, you know, your family supporting what you're doing because they want to see you succeed. You know, the community, even like, we ain't never seen nobody do it like this before. But you got people coming from a whole nother area to support and to help make things better, and you kind of, you know, it's crazy. Go ahead, bro, Tab.
You can argue this all day. However, when you take a certain job, I'm gonna take it from this place.
Mm-hmm.
When I take a certain job, you understand tenure. When you become a school teacher, you understand tenure because they explain it to you. That's written in your contract. It's just like, it's no different than young man that up here swinging a gun in the club. And, you know, just because he's young and he's black, we're supposed to give him a pass, and he know his ass was wrong.
Now he was wrong.
Right. So when you take this job as a teacher, you understand, is tenure fair? I don't think tenure should be there at all. I think that you should be given a reason every time you leave a job for two reasons. One, because when they tell you, it's your report card. When they tell you what you're doing wrong, you can fix it. And two, it helps you grow as a person. But when you take this job, you understand that there's this loophole with this tenure. You know you gotta walk. It's just like driving around when you know you ain't got no driver's license.
Oh, it's the superintendent.
So what if you walk that tight line and they still railroad you? You done did everything, you know,
but that's,
to the T.
You can do everything, but you ain't got to do. They can just not like you.
Yeah, exactly.
We understand tenure. We understand tenure.
I guess so. My question is, why go into teaching in Alabama if you're gonna put your all into it? But just because somebody don't like me, they can terminate me without cause. Why should I pursue that career and go into a place that is known for doing this? I wouldn't do it.
But see,
because for one, if you're a teacher, it's gonna hurt your character. Because you would terminate from this school, somebody else might not want to give you the opportunity.
That's in rural Alabama. But let me explain something to you, because that is kind of threaded into a lot of jobs, even in the federal government. In my job at NCIS for them 16 and a half years, when certain people walked in the door and they did not fit, I've seen some IT people that are right now that's really making a lot of money that left NCIS because they did not get along with the group. It wasn't that they didn't do a bad job. Hell, they were some of the best I've seen.
But also, Tab, you got evaluations.
But
yes, But what
That's why
tenure means. When you walk in, it's like when you take a job as a celebrity, and when people start standing over your shoulder, looking at your personal business because you make your money. You have to understand tenure before you take these jobs.
Right. So if you evaluate me and I'm doing everything good, but you still let me go just because I just don't like your style. You making too many good changes.
That's what tenure
That's
means.
messed up.
It is wrong. I agree 100%. It is messed up, but that is one of the clauses, and that's how the job works. I could never.
That's earlier.
It's like me. I could never work in the health field because somebody down me, I'm gonna quit. But you working in the health field, you know that somebody gonna die.
Richard Bendison said I'm sure tenure isn't exclusive to Alabama, which is not. Every state got a tenure law, but he said tenure works both ways. You need that policy to get rid of bad teachers also. But this is the problem though.
If they're bad,
the problem that it is
that get rid of bad teachers. That's a lie. There's some bad ones that've been there 20 years. They can't get rid of now because they made tenure.
Because they made tenure. And I'm saying it go both ways. The thing, what we're saying is you should have something in there to where you at least get an explanation. If I just say I'm not going to retain your contract, why? Especially if I'm coming under investigation, especially if you got this scenario like this. That's the thing that we're talking about with this scenario. Now back to what Duck said, because I know Duck, you tried to throw a shot earlier. I just want to let you know. I had a 3.5 GPA and I scored a 26 on my ACT.
You didn't mention your name though.
But listen,
I didn't hear you mention your name. You mentioned everybody else's name but you.
Everybody in 9.8. Everybody about in 9.8.
But he didn't mention his name, so that wasn't to you. That wasn't to you. That was for the one's name you mentioned.
Listen, I'm just saying. I mentioned 9.7 in there too, Larry.
One or two.
Huh?
One or two.
Hey, now they're throwing shots right there. Now they're throwing shots.
But the same thing. What we're saying with this is, if these teachers are not doing the right thing, don't hold them. I'm not advocating to hold them, but if these teachers are making an impact, let's look at the whole thing. Because now you have the support of the kids, you got the support of the parents. Their voice should matter too. That's all I'm saying in it, because they're the ones who put you in office to be on the school board. But that. And that conversation needs to be made. That's why we continue to advocate, because guess what? Outside of that straight ticket, man, I wouldn't have known half of these folks that were running for the school board off.
Right.
But Larry, I agree with you on this one, man. I agree with you. At least West Campbell got some right today, but I agree with you on this one.
It just messed up, man.
Hey, so let me ask you this, Larry, about the situation though. Who had the final say? So the board, right?
I guess the board, but I think the superintendent had to say so. I think the board just went along to get along. But like I said, my thing is, you rarely have people that want to come back, especially that have been out there. Young man did good for himself, went to Florida. He had to leave Utah, because Utah had the resources to go to another school, so he can be noticed to get there. But if he got the mindset to where he know the talent in our area, they shouldn't have to leave home to get noticed. I want to bring something to the table to where they can stay at home and still get the recognition and have the same opportunity that I have. You don't get that often. A lot of people like us, when we leave and go to college and stuff, we don't go back to try to give everybody, a better opportunity than we had. So it's a rare situation for him, and he ain't even from Perry County, even Greene County. But to go and want to make that difference so that kids won't have to uproot from home like he did to go to another school when you can get it where you at, that's big.
Hey, so Larry, do you think this guy is guilty?
No.
Hey, what you base your information on that he's not guilty? I'm saying, what would you base it? If you had to say one thing, what would you base it on?
Well, I know his accuser later, apologized for the lie.
No.
I do know that even though the lie was put out there, nothing was really done about it. All the focus was on him. And one thing I know, people try to destroy your character, and then once they see, I didn't really mean to do that. Yeah, you meant to do that, because if you want to put the lie out there, we wouldn't be where we are now. So I fought the administration as well. Like I say, the principal nor the assistant principal was at the hearing. You my first line leaders.
So, hold up, Larry. With that other incident about the young lady, or at some point in time, the assistant principal wasn't on his side anyway.
No,
the assistant principal, because from what I gathered, go ahead and tell it.
Because she allegedly told another teacher to write a letter falsifying that Coach Lewis had to be restrained, but the other teacher wouldn't write the letter. So it was a witch hunt from the beginning.
It sounds like shots are being fired by the assistant principal. Sounds like she had more influence over the board and the principal than she needs. Because if she's trying to get somebody to falsify information, then that's the coach's problem right there. That's the coach's problem. She got a problem with the coach. Allegedly.
I mean, the whole situation, I just wish that, like I said, it's hard to get somebody that's from the area. Now, we get people that ain't from the area to come here all the time. But to get somebody from the area to want to come back to the area to make an impact, that's rare. A lot of these teachers that come in our area, they not from the black belt. A lot of them are not. But when you got somebody that was born and raised in the black belt that made it out and then want to come back, that's rare. Yeah. That's rare.
But speaking of evidence, y'all seen the article that came out with the video evidence about what happened? Because you know they made the somebody seen the article. They said Sports Center, all of them need to owe Brandon Miller apology based off of the shooting that happened. A young lady that lost her life.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What happened, Shep?
Video evidence came out showing that he had nothing to really do with it.
Oh, you talking about basketball player? They got locked up.
They tried to make it like he was,
They said he was a shooter.
He won the Darius Miles and the other guy. The ones that's still in it. But I'm talking about Brandon Miller.
Oh, the Miller guy. Okay.
SEC Player of the Year. He was there's some video evidence that came out with basically saying he ain't had nothing to do with it. Allegedly, they was all going to a club and he ended up going home because the line was too long. He said he was going home and they showed that he wasn't even there when it happened. His
main thing was here's what I was getting, from a lot of reporters in the station I was watching. They said that he allegedly supposed to have been took the gun to the guy.
He did.
Yeah. That's okay.
If I leave my gun in your car, I said, "Look, man, bring me my gun. If you bring it back to me, it's mine, and I do something stupid after the fact, you ain't got nothing to do with that. You brought me my property. You. Yeah, right. You brought me my property."
So, but Chef, you saying that they try to say that he was involved in it
because that was his gun. They said they try to say he brought him the gun and then he shot after that. That was the narrative.
Yeah, okay.
Because he was the designated driver that night.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you know what though? He said he was on his way back to get them. Now, this is something that my mama bringing up, and I want to make sure that mama said Hatch needs about 11 teachers now. There are 11 full-time subs at Hatch. Now, if you go back, Alabama need teachers. They got a shortage of teachers. Now, when you go and you're looking at that, I'm not saying, and I don't want nobody to take this. I don't want nobody to think that we are advocating to hold on to garbage teachers. That's not what we're doing. What we saying is we got to look at how we handle situations and how we fundamentally have to change. Listen, I wrote a song called So Disrespectful because all of the stuff that teachers have to go through, it is disrespectful to them for what they got to deal with parents. It's disrespectful to them what they got to deal with administrations, because guess what? These teachers get told, listen, I'm telling you, I know right now in Augusta, Georgia, they tell teachers they can't give them a 0 if they don't do their work. They say they got to give them a 60 because they said 0 is too hard to overcome. So you got kids right now, no, they ain't gonna get no 0. They ain't gonna do nothing.
Right.
60 will pass you.
The D's get degrees, huh?
True.
But what I'm saying is we perpetuate this because a lot of this is based off how we try to get funding, right? And what people don't even realize is they don't realize we create this system to where there's no accountability for the kids, and then these parents, we know we be dead wrong. We know our kids hard-headed. We know our kids got an attitude we not capable of because they show it at the house. But we want to come up to the school, think we gonna nut up like that, make you something. No, you really look stupid, especially when your kids out of order. Because guess what though? You ain't gonna do that when they in jail. Only thing you're gonna be doing is free little Robert.
That's about it.
But again, I blame the community, man. They should be in an uproar, man. They should be in an uproar. If this guy's innocent and they got rid of him and this guy made your child or your kids a better person and you saw improvement in their attitudes and in their grades, seems like the community should come together to help get this guy an attorney. That would be the most admirable thing to do.
And took the football team to the playoffs his first season, and they hired him in July. In the football season,
have they ever been though? Have they ever been to the playoffs?
They made it to the playoffs before, but you know, Hatch.
How many years it been?
Huh?
How many years it been since they've been?
It's been a few years back. My cousin Khalil played for them then, so it was
and before then, they probably ain't never made the playoffs.
You know, they were struggling in the 80s.
Never basketball.
Hey, basketball, they set a state record, but hey, Tyrone said it. Tyrone said, I didn't start playing football till the 10th grade. Started all 3 years and played 2 years of college football. It's on the person to make it. Can't blame the school. Nobody blame the school, Tyrone, but also you was 6'3", about 300 pounds too, bro. And when you look at
hold up, Chef.
I can't dribble basketball.
Go ahead, Chef. Go ahead.
This is what I'm saying with that.
Get him 9-8. Get him 9-8.
When you're thinking about this, those coaches play a big role in kids getting opportunities. Play a major role. Because guess what? College coaches come down and they ask what's going on. Listen, I would tell you, it was Coach Wagner, Philip Wagner at Sunshine, who reached out to Coach Towns up at A&M and told him about me. I ain't even play at Sunshine. That's what I'm saying. The coaches play a major role when you're talking about recruiting and opportunity. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that to diminish your accomplishment, because yeah, it is on the individual, but you got to also look at the times now. We didn't have Huddle like they got Huddle right now. We didn't have all those recruiting things like they got right now.
I don't think he heard it right.
You was at the mercy.
He didn't hear it right.
You was at the mercy of Tuscaloosa News and those local newspapers. That's why I said, this is why I talked about that too. How I make first team All-State Alabama Sports Writers Association and the Birmingham News, but don't make all area. But the people make all area was all from Tuscaloosa schools, but didn't make All-State.
Sure, he didn't hear it right.
But I didn't even find out until we was going on our bus ride to play Lynette in the quarterfinals my senior year that I was voted preseason for Class 4A Defensive Player of the Year. I ain't know that. I played the whole season. We played 12 games, didn't even know that because it was written in the magazine. So the coaches play a big role in the opportunities. The resources that a school have play a big role. If you guys don't think resources play a big role, go look up IMG Academy down there in Bradenton, Florida. IMG Academy is a school that's specialized on these kids having access to resources. That's where Bo Scarborough went. He left Tuscaloosa and went down there to IMG. IMG got a lot of those. IMG, matter of fact, they can't even play for a state championship because their football team's so good. Not just football, basketball. It is resources play a big role. That's all I'm gonna say. Resources play a major role, and you got to have the coaches with the connections to get the people to bring those resources in to get our kids exposure. Just telling you, they play a major role, and a lot of times. Go ahead, Duck.
Again, I said Bone ain't listening to the show. He came in on the end part. Ain't nobody never blamed the school. You only been talking about the coach all night. Ain't nobody never blamed the school. But go ahead.
No, but yeah, man, it is. I would tell you, waiting till all the information can't come out. Just like Duck said earlier, you believe somebody innocent until proven guilty. And the thing with Coach Lewis, I don't like how they handle the situation, especially not allowing the parents and the kids to speak.
Or the AEA attorney that came to speak.
Attorney.
Well, if they got them on tenure, then it's not. Then all that stuff is irrelevant. Anyway.
But listen, tenure is a coward way out, man. Tenure is a coward way out.
But this is the
thing, bro, Tab. He was put on leave with pay upon investigation. An investigation was done. If you investigate, you have to produce the findings of an investigation, right or wrong, regardless of their tenure involved in that.
So
they never produced.
What did they let him go for? Because of the tenure or the investigation?
Well, they never gave him a reason why, so it had to be the tenure. But if you investigate me, what's the findings of your investigation?
Hey man, them jokers down there is a joke. That board of education down there in Perry County sound like they're a joke. Sound like the superintendent is a joke, as well as the principal.
So now, if the investigation wasn't in place,
it's a joke.
You know, you can argue tenure, but if you put me on leave with pay upon investigation of an issue, but you don't produce the findings of your investigation.
Apparently, the findings that he was in favor of him because they didn't use the findings, they used tenure.
Because they didn't do the investigation.
But hold on, listen, I'm gonna flip the script on y'all. What if this incident was with a police officer that was involved in the shooting? And then they found it out, and guess what? You see what I'm saying? Like, we look at this, and I'm talking about from a public servant standpoint, because teachers are public servants. They are.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When in the same thing in the military, if I'm under investigation, I would get flagged. And under that, I'll be flagged for their time on the investigation. Once it comes down,
military is not a good example.
But this is what I'm saying though. After that,
it's a different law too.
Done, when that investigation is complete, that
they got to produce it,
and then they will either tell me they're going to pursue
charges,
or that I've been adjudicated. That's all we're saying in this right here. That's why I use that for this example.
You're using an example because you're comparing something that has been functional and works on a process like the military. You cannot use an example in a civilian arena, especially when they got 100 other issues over there.
I agree.
Yeah, that stuff is not that there. We wouldn't be having this conversation if everything was transparent and they had clear policies and bylaws.
Jeff is saying this though, just being honest about the situation, just being fair about the situation.
Well, why be fair about this when you weren't fair about the last 15 of them?
Huh? I've always been fair about them.
I ain't talking
Coach
about
King, all of them. You know about the school.
That's not wrong. Come on, people.
and I guess that's where I'm drawing the line at. When is enough gonna be enough?
Right. Like,
when's the people gonna step up, man?
When is enough gonna be enough?
Come on now.
They need to start getting rid of them board members. The next election, right now, they need to get them a group of people right now with some money. Or if you ain't got no money, you start reaching out to people, getting your money straight, start electing good people. Good people, so that you can replace the bad apples on the board, replace that superintendent, so that y'all have people in position to replace the principal and definitely the assistant principal. Definitely that joker.
But the thing is, with all of this, the parents of those kids that went there and they wouldn't listen to you, you should be at your board. You should be knocking down your board member, school board member, whoever's in your district. They got 5 districts. You should be going there and demanding that they hear you out and give you an explanation on what was behind that decision.
And they said they was at the board. Allegedly, the students and parents were there, asking why, and they locked them out when he let them come in.
Yeah.
Hey, something even better than that. Get all the kids together and walk out. Get all the students together and walk out every day if you have to, and that's gonna start shedding light not only on the local, but it should shed light abroad as well. That's what needs to start happening.
What you said?
Get to this.
You heard what I said.
No, what he said?
Well, they need to be set up in that classroom. They need to spend the night there.
They do
something. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Draw some attention there. Draw some attention there.
Okay.
Draw some attention.
Tell them don't go nowhere.
But the thing we're talking about with this too is, I'm not just talking about something to get some attention. I'm talking about something about change, and we keep.
It's gonna fix the problem.
Yep.
It's gonna fix the problem.
Optimistic, ain't you?
No, listen. No, what I'm saying with all of this, and this boils down to it. Like we continue to deal with some of the same things with this, right? Same thing over and over throughout, and we talking about the black belt. Now, the whole thing with this, we talking about all these allegations, right? If something is wrong and you don't want to uphold them, you know, okay, then have a conversation and then look to see, okay, it may not be good to work with you right there in this school, but guess what? Let me work to try to get you somewhere else. And then really, what is the issue? What's the real issue? Like, honestly, tell what the issue is, because this right here, it just reeks of a lot of things. And like what we said 2 years ago in Greensboro, the kids are the one that's gonna suffer. The kids
and the community.
And it says a lot about the administration of the board, like you was talking about in the commissioner meeting. You know, just watching that, it's disheartening. And when you go in these meetings and the community is not, you know, your main object to making things better, it's all disheartening. I mean, it's like, what's the purpose? Why are we doing this if this is gonna be the outcome over and over and over again? Why do we continue to do this? I might well take my ball and go home if this how y'all gonna play.
So, you know, and I always go back to it, but the military, we have a vision, then we have an end state. And the problem that I think we have is we just have settled into a lot of the status quo and not have different visions. So like if I say we got a vision, you can also say, okay, you can have different, what we call different lines of effort. Because guess what? It's not just one way, it's different ways. You're not just gonna get there, just hey, I'm not gonna get to you're not gonna get your car from not having a car to your car running and not have to go through the steps of the whole thing. You can have everything and get the body, but if you don't put no motor or no transmission in there, it ain't going anywhere. You can have a motor and the transmission and don't put no tires or no brakes on there, it ain't going anywhere. So you got to work, you can work it all and lay it all out, but that's what we call having organizational leaders. And having organizational leaders with experience of how to lead and manage organizations. And when you understand organizational leadership, you also understand that every decision that is made, it may not be favorable to the individual, but for the collective as a whole, it's working towards pushing them to now. What is it? It's kids.
And they need conflict. They need to understand conflict management.
Conflict. Matter of fact, you need discourse. You need people that it's a different. You don't need insubordination, but you need people that will challenge things so that it can be, because you want to stimulate critical thinking. Absolutely. You want to stimulate critical thinking, because one thing about it is, if you always the smartest person, or everything always got to come from you, or everything always got to be your idea, I would tell you, you are in a bad position.
You're in a bubble.
You're in a bubble. And I would, man, look, a lot of the stuff that we have can definitely be we can do a lot better. These kids deserve better.
They deserve better.
Deserve.
And it's a shame that the kids have to look at us, and then when they become adults and go back to these moments and see us acting like children as adults.
Hey, but let me show you something. Y'all just said something there. Y'all just touched on something that's real profound. And the reason I said it was profound, because could it be possible that this is why the black belt is in a position it's in now, and we just seeing history just constantly repeating itself? Because everybody just sit back and don't nobody do nothing, watch the kids suffer. You know, you got parents who really don't support their kids, don't do nothing until it's trouble at the school. Then you want to go and defend a problem child that you know you have problems with. Could it be that history is just repeating itself? That you know, this is what they was taught.
Well, the reality is, most of the time we just don't know no better.
But we have to be taught that.
But we
have to be taught it.
This is what I'm saying. We have got comfortable in our mediocrity. And this is what I mean by mediocrity. And I don't want people to take this the wrong way, but because we have always had less than, because we have always had lack, because we have always not had, you know what I'm saying? We just settle and it's like, okay, I'm good.
Don't expect nothing more.
We don't expect nothing more. Our expectation is not to have more.
And I've talked about that with one of the churches I pastored. You know, never really did a whole lot. But when I came and stuff started moving, oh, you taking us too fast. Am I taking you to too fast, or the fact that you're doing something you never done before, and now you don't know what to do since you feel like you should have stayed, you know, in the position you was in. But now that you're moving, now you fighting against moving, and that's how a lot of us are. You know, we feel like, well, this how I've always been. I ought to be the little church sitting on the side of the road. I ain't never did. And then other people don't expect us to do that. So when I start doing something, it's a problem because I don't supposed to do stuff based on what other people say. And I think that's a lot of our mentality. Like Robert said, we settle for being mediocre because that's what people say we are, either mediocre or less than that. And that's where we stay at because of our mentalities. And when somebody come in that don't think like that and start moving you forward, we don't supposed to be moving. Y'all, we moving. We don't supposed to be moving. We've been standing still for 50 years and now we moving. Oh no, something wrong with that.
Hey, Carter said this. He said they've been stagnant for so long that they get motion sickness once things are moving. And
hey, the word for that, the word for that would be, Larry, what you just described, the definition you gave, is that our people have been culturally conditioned. They've been culturally conditioned. That's the word. They've been conditioned. Yes.
Listen, and
what? Wait a minute. If our people been culturally conditioned, what happened to us? What happened to all four of us?
No, I'm just saying our people, because go ahead, Chef, get it. Chef, get it.
Come on, Chef. What you got?
Robert, did you stay in Greensboro?
No, I didn't.
Why did you leave Greensboro?
If our people were culturally conditioned, then I
but listen.
No, that wasn't the question.
No. Why did you leave Greensboro?
Because I wanted more.
Okay. When you came back from leaving Greensboro, why did you settle in Demopolis?
Because it's moving. Because Demopolis has more. Because after I left, I realized the assets of the world. And so when we say are culturally conditioned, then we should be included in that number.
No, let me ask you this, though, Tab. Do you know what culturally conditioned means? Because if you know what culturally conditioned means,
yes, I do.
What do it mean?
It means that you're talking about a group of people, or usually of color, or demographic, or any kind of disposition that settles to be and comfortable being in one place.
Hey, Duck, my mom.
That's not what it means.
My mom
what does
said,
it mean then?
Hold on. My mama said this, Larry. She said, so true, Pastor Long. My husband pastored the church back in the 70s. When they raised their first $1,000, the clerk became nervous and ended up going to the doctor because of anxiety.
God dog it.
I can't believe that.
No, and this is no, but the point that I was making, Robert, is we wanted better, so we wasn't afraid of something new. We wasn't afraid of going out there of facing the unknown. We got a lot of people at home that are afraid of facing the unknown, and then when you come back and you try to educate, they'll say, "Oh, you bougie. Oh, you think you better than everybody." No, you just said, "No, I'm telling you, this is better." And you look at it. If you look 50 miles from Uniontown, 30 miles from Greensboro is Tuscaloosa. Look right there in Taylorsville, right there in Hillcrest. Think about what that looked like 20 years ago. And look at what it looked like now. I'm talking about before Shelton State moved out there.
Shelton was on Skyland back then.
Look at what it looked like now. Hillcrest High School, they Booster Club built the indoor practice facility in 1999. Parents raised $200,000 in the building. Leadership. If we try to raise $500 right now in Greensboro, people gonna be complaining.
There's people
I ain't got it
too.
Huh?
I'm going to agree with you on that one, Chef.
Is people complaining? You think they didn't complain when they did that?
Yeah, but this is the thing. They had enough people that were going to give.
The people outweighed the negative. Absolutely.
Executive.
So, but
Exactly.
people complain in every culture here.
They do.
So my
they
thing
do
is,
true.
Way the negative. When you look at all of us, and I was talking to buddy of mine, and I was particularly talking about y'all, that class 98 today. With all you guys that have done so well for yourselves, done so as a group, if you could collectively join. Now, all these people that done well for themselves, most of them don't live in this area. So this cultural conditions thing, I argue that because you guys have enough people in your class that have became really good thousandaires and done really well that you can move something. The whole let's go with the class day out. You guys started that, and because of that, all these other little communities are doing the same thing. Just imagine if we could just get the people that left here and came back that's pouring back in. I'm the only one that lives in the Black Belt.
Well, Robert, also
on this panel. But look
right.
at you guys are coming from different places and you still pouring in.
But Robert, with this though, a lot of people got tired of trying to pour in because they got so much resistance from people trying to pour in. You get an idea. Hey, let's do this for the school. Hey, is it just gonna be for our kids? Like, it's for the school.
But we go through it in our class too. We go in there and see somebody questioning something or somebody. They're always gonna be a hater or a naysayer. My goal is that when I decide to do something, I have to got to cancel out that noise. That's probably why I'm in therapy. I got to move that noise to the side because at the end of the day, I can hate you, but we got a common goal. Guess what we're gonna do?
Right.
We're gonna make it happen.
Work together.
And
but negativity kills productivity every day. You don't take but one negative thought, then somebody be like, "Well, I ain't never thought about it like that." Now that person negative. Now the next person get negative, all because of one negative outburst.
But positivity.
That's all it takes.
But positivity has the same power.
It does, but when the negative outweighs the positive, when you got more people that speaking negatively, it's a book called The Autopsy of a Deceased Church, and I'm gonna use this book as for our community. And the book was given the signs of a dying church. You had a guy that moved away and came back home and saw how the city that used to be vibrant, the stores open, now the store is closed. This store almost tore down, and then he talked to one of his friends that he graduated high school with. He was like, "Man, the city shoulda went down. What you talking about? This person never left, so they don't realize how ran down the city is because they become culturally, what that word did you use, Doug?
Conditioned.
They become culturally conditioned to where they can't see that the city is dying or that the church is dying. In the same way within our communities, because a lot of people really haven't been no further than Selma or Tuscaloosa, and they hadn't seen beyond that, and they go right back to the small town, and then they think that they're doing good and they're vibrating. I mean, and they're vibrant, but yet it's dying a slow death because everybody else moving out.
Right. But look at an example.
So the signs are there, but the people in leadership, they don't even want to recognize the signs of a decaying city, of a dying city that is really on life support. And instead of you putting things in place to keep the city alive, you continue to be the cancer to destroy the city.
With that, people not voting. That
Go ahead, Rob.
Go ahead, Tab.
That's the root of all. I was like, if they said that they live inside the bubble and they never been anywhere and they won't even go vote. I mean, we can sit here and talk till we blue in the face.
But that's why it's important to have that conversation, though, so people understand.
We've been having this conversation. I've been on this show almost about a year and a half now, and we've been having a conversation every week. But every time.
But let's be honest, bro, Tab.
Some changes been happening though, Tab. There's some changes been happening slowly but surely.
At the voter poll, no, they haven't. They've been decreasing.
But let's be honest though.
I'm saying we do it in more than just Greensboro. Changes.
But check this out though, Doug.
Go ahead,
If I wasn't brought up the vote already and just know the importance of voting, and somebody else to come up behind me that don't really know the importance, and you go to a city council meeting or a commissioner meeting, and all they're doing is fussing, I won't want to vote either. Yeah, that's discouraging.
That would be my reason to vote, to get rid of the ones that's there.
No, but that would be discouraging for some people. All you do is fuss.
I agree with Tab on that one.
It should.
But everybody don't have that same mentality, though, Doug. That's what I'm saying. Everybody ain't got our mentality.
But it's enough of us that do.
But
it's enough.
But I don't disagree.
It's enough to do.
I don't disagree, but the point is you got to have the balance of okay. Demetrius Lewis said Coach Lewis was called bougie. He think he too much. He think he know it all. His mouth smart. Everything but Coach Lewis. Now you know. I was just about to say, you know, we say certain things on the show,
but it does not deter me from doing what I
got something to say when you get through, Shep. I'll be back.
No, but my point with all of this is when you sit down and you think about it, right? One thing.
Hey Kim, you got an ink pen over there on your?
It's that prophet has no honor in his own hometown. So when you look at it, a lot of times you'll be looked at as if you may think that you're too much, or you may think that you're better than somebody when you're just offering information on things that actually work because you have that experience.
And because you set a higher standard than what's been set.
And some people, they become intimidated because you are exposing the limits that they've been operating on. Absolutely. They become intimidated by that. And they begin to attack and go against you because now you are exposing them from there because you bruising their ego, because now you're talking about operating at a higher level of efficiency than they were. Now, when you come into an organization and you're raising the standard and you're raising the bar, you are going to ruffle some feathers, because guess what? Some people are not going to want to change, but you have to,
Yeah, that's one side of it, but I believe, well, I know there is, you know, because they got a whole bunch of names for me, whatever, but there is somebody that is inspired, because people come up to me in the grocery store and say, hey man, you went back to school at 50. I'm going back to school now. I'm not too old for that. So we talk about that side, but there's another side. If you can, when I'm sure, you know, you guys being pastors, that when you give your sermon, you want to reach the whole congregation. But if you don't reach with one or two, you've done your job, because they can take that and move. You're not going to be able to reach everybody.
But it's different, Robert, when you're dealing with something like in a school, or you're dealing with something like in a political organization where you got to continuously deal with these people, and these people, because they ego, they perceive you as a threat. Think about it. Why do you think so many people was against Portia? You had people campaigning against Portia, spreading lies against Portia, because guess what? They didn't want Portia to get in office. And the reason why they didn't want Portia to get in office because they know how Portia operates. You know, I'm just being honest with you. Now, you know, I tell it to Portia like it is. But that's why a lot of people don't like Portia in that capacity, because they know Portia's going to speak the truth to power and going to advocate for what right looks like. You got some people that's in these schoolhouses that they feel threatened by younger people coming on board. These younger people can relate to these kids better, so they're gonna try to move them out the way because they feel like they taking their shine.
Exactly.
Instead of them grooming them and preparing them to take their position. Go ahead, Larry.
And the church ain't that much different. The last church I pastored went in.
Get out of my head. You saying what I was finna say.
2 hours one way. I'm driving 2 hours. Made an impact my first year. They grew in numbers, spiritually and financially. Deacons got, well, he doing too much. The members were supporting me. They were going along with what I was saying. So we got to get this Negro out the way, because he taking power from us. And it ain't about power. It's about doing the will of God. So I done impacted. I'm all the way from Mississippi, but I'm bringing them from Mississippi all the way to Selma to the Jubilee. They ain't never been to no Jubilee before. Kids had a great experience. Some of the grown people went, but I'm exposing them to things they never been exposed to before. So I get a letter, from the chairman at the time. The church have come to a consensus. We don't want you no more. I read it out loud in church. The member said, we ain't come to no consensus. We don't know nothing about that. But at the end of the day, got so bad, Joker pulling guns on other people in the church. So I already know me. You ain't got but one time to put a gun on Larry, and I'll be the last Joker you see if you don't use it. I promise you that. But the fact of the matter is, in the process of them trying to hurt me, they hurt the members, they hurt the kids that I did empower. And a lot of them, guess what? They don't go to church no more.
Church is losing members.
Because the person that empowered me, the person that really introduced me to ministry, you attacked this person and ran them off because you wanted control when he wasn't doing that, but better, and not just the church, but also the community. I was down there during the pandemic. I'm spending money out of my pocket because a lot of my members work in hospitals. I'm spending my money feeding lunches, buying lunch for the hospital because I know I got members work there. When the church money, my money. But when it came down to the anniversary, well, the pastor did it, the pastor did that. Well, we ain't tell him to do that. Hey, I get a check every first and third. You ain't got to do nothing for Larry. I'm not your charity case. But the fact of the matter is, people will use you and abuse you for what you could do for them. But the first time they feel threatened, they're going to attack your character. They're going to plot against you. And they're going to do what they can do to get you out the way. Yep. So the church ain't no different from the political cesspools we got in our communities and the doggone school boards. Church ain't no different from that because all of them the same. It's all about politics.
It's the same.
Yeah.
What's up, Duck?
I rest my case, Your Honor.
Are you ready?
Nothing else from the plaintiff.
Nothing else from the plaintiff.
And I got to go because I supposed to be doing something. But
Larry gonna say it all.
Hey,
but that's real.
Hey, but he telling the truth. Listen,
he is.
Robert, my daddy lived through that. I seen my daddy live through that. I seen him live through that. And the same thing when I'm saying, even with this, even in schools, you got principals that get in their head that they egos and they run people away. Folks just don't even like coming to work because they don't like the work environment because it's about control.
Right.
You ain't empowering people to do what they getting paid to do. And then you wondering why, like, folks return. Listen, I know for a fact there's some teachers retired last year that had a lot more years left in them, but they ain't want to deal with people in leadership.
There was 9 over there in the middle school that retired now, and that should have been something I feel when it happened. I was like, that's something I feel that you should look at retention. If you losing members from the church, if you losing educators, that's when the time for the superintendent or the chancellor or whoever over this program was, okay, we got to do something to goddamn robust, to goddamn put this back together.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we losing, in one summer, we losing 9, 12, 13 teachers and stuff, there's a problem.
Yeah,
it's a problem.
Hey, Chris Hill Jones asked, she said, is Mr. Long running for a new position? Larry, you've been on the hot streak lately. Hey, y'all remember that? Y'all remember the NBA Jam game? He's on fire.
Hey, man,
keep it real, man. And it burns me up, really, because I got a heart for ministry. God created me for ministry. I know that. If I didn't know that, I wouldn't be in school right now paying $10,000 a semester, trying to build myself. I wouldn't even have a heart to come back to Greensboro. I'm turning down churches, but I want to see change at home. It don't make me to me, it won't do me no good to go somewhere else and make somebody else's environment better when I still got folks down there and I know I can make an impact.
Robert,
that bothers me.
Robert, prime example. Remember what I put out at the beginning of the year? I said for my Raider Nation song, I said everyone that was sold, I would donate 100% of the proceeds. You know how many is sold since I said that back in August?
10.
9, Larry. 9.
Oh.
So now we're at $9. It costs 99 cents on iTunes to order it, and I'm gonna give 100 to the school. But because somebody from there, because they know me, and not saying I'm not talking about I'm all that or anything. That's not what I'm saying. But a lot of times because people know you, they familiar with you, they won't support you. But if you somebody else, they'll be right there. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Robert. I deal with this. Even in this short time that I've been in the cooking world. It was brought to my attention that we tab too high, and I am.
Food ain't cheap either.
Tab, listen. Let me help you out with this. You hire, but you only hire to cheap people. You only hire to cheap people. People that have been other places and been abroad, they know for good eating, good cooking, you're going to pay.
Hey, Doug, I'm going to ask you this question. Hey, Tab, for the people that frequently commission you for your service, do they complain about your prices?
Not at all.
And if they go in the grocery store, they'll know why you high.
They tell them how yes I am.
Eggs high, meat high, everything high, bread high, milk high.
Because I went to school and I took it to another level and I went and got a degree. And if
it's not
money there, you need to get your money back. It need to pay for itself. And secondly, if they feel like they paying my bill, we ain't gonna do that because we paying this bill. Let me tell you something. I came here with a bag.
But not only that though, Robert, it ain't got nothing to do with your degree. You paying for your work.
I'm paying for my work.
You a chef, you still can't cook better than me, but you good now. I give you your props.
Yeah,
He
can cook.
Look at that. Look how his nose flared up.
I see it.
Larry already told me who the best cook in West Alabama is. So I'm gonna leave Larry where that is.
I said when it come to grilling ribs.
Hey, listen, now I knew I was gonna get him fired up on that, but
because I ain't for everybody.
No, but everybody ain't for everybody. At the end of the day, we can control this. And what we talked about tonight, Duck said, let me run for probate judge after Crawford retire.
A lie.
No,
He lied.
At the end of it all, it impacts these kids, and we should be about setting the kids up for success. Go ahead, Robert. Tyrone said, Robert, tell Larry what I said.
Larry, I want, this whole barbecue cook-off, we decided to postpone that because we want you to do the first one, and we're going to come to your barbecue cook-off. And
you ain't got to. No.
Don't be like that, Larry.
That's the May Day. That's the same day as May Day.
We changed that. We changed our day, so we're not going to do it till you do it first. So
I ain't got to be first.
No, Larry.
Yes, sir. I'm respect my elders. Yes, sir.
Okay, well, act like it, Larry.
Yes, sir.
So we waiting for you to do this barbecue cook-off so we can go and support. And
yes, sir.
And hope is it gonna be this year? Because you all.
Yes, sir. If the dam don't break, the creek don't ride, and the good Lord don't call me home.
Okay, we waiting on you because we canceled that the event because it was the May Day. And so
yes, sir.
We want you to be the kickoff of the whole franchise, the barbecue cook-off.
Yes, sir. And I got to go, y'all. I got to go. My son, them, they getting ready to go to Huntington, Kansas for the national tournament for the JUCO. So, excited about them going, man. I pray to the good Lord that He be with them and that they continue to do well in this tournament, man.
All right, man. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
We always want to go. Flyer, Larry.
Yes, sir.
I do want to highlight on April 29th, Deborah Chavis Perkins is doing a Rags to Riches fashion show. It was going to be hosted by Dexter Thornton. It's going to be in Greensboro, Alabama, and it's going to be a Realist Rich production, Rags to Riches. They got pre-sale tickets for $10, and I posted it on shared it on the Black Belt Experience page. So go check that out. $10 pre-sale, $25 at the door. DJ Bone is going to be the DJ. Doors open at 6 and showtime is at 7. That's 156 Alabama Highway 25 South in Greensboro, Alabama. So that's what we're gonna be going on the 29th on there. Also, too, just want to get down I want to give a congratulations to the Quiz Bowl team of Marlon Lewis, Chase Hobson, Derek Mosley from the manufacturing class at the Harrell County College and Career Academy. They placed 5th in the District Skill USA competition. So shout out for that. Also, too, want to give a shout out to Avian McGuffey for participating in the 2023. He represented Harrell County. They represent Harrell County for the 2023 Alabama Spelling Bee So congrats to him.
Hey, Chef, what was that name you said?
Aven, Aaven McGuffey.
No, what was the last name?
McGuffey.
Okay, I just want to make sure I heard that right.
Oh, okay. You want to make sure you heard that right. Then, also, too, shared on the Black Belt Experience page, they got a lot of camps coming up for kids for football camps. South Alabama got a camp. Auburn got multiple camps. You got a Drew Chronic football camp. Got SEC, Big 10, Big 12, Pac-12, ACC. You have Mike Norvell football camp for Florida State. It's coming up. That's on. They have a 7-on-7 camp, and they have a mega camp coming up. You have Nick Saban football camp that's coming up. They got all different dates, like 8 different dates. You got the Sean Elliott showcase at Georgia State. You got a mega camp coming up in June. They got different sections and stuff like that. You got a Kentucky Wildcat camp date. You got a Florida Gators camp date, and I also got the pictures on there of the football camp, all the dates and the location, and they got the costs on there. What I want to do is I want to challenge the community, especially the church. If we got kids that need to get sponsored to go to these, let's come together to sponsor these kids. Now, what we do need the kids to do is we need the kids to come up on the net to say, hey, I want to participate in this. I would like this opportunity. And, I just need some assistance with doing that. Now, what we ask is, with you being sponsored, we're not just trying to give out free chicken. What we want is, we want you guys to make a commitment to not only you going there to do your best, but you commit to being an ideal student, an ideal citizen in the community, and you maximize these opportunities. Just to do that, that's just for football, and I put that out there. Also, too, they got disaster assistance resources. So they got it's been extended. You can go to the Terra Sewell page. They got the disaster on her page. They got the disaster assistance that people can come in and get assistance from the tornado damage that was there. It's been extended for that. And also, too, I want to give a shout out to a black belt, somebody from the black belt that matriculated at Greensboro High School, Miss Rhonda Richardson. She with you, right, Duck? Class 94? What year is she?
9-4 all the way. 9-4 to the front door.
Hey, she was voted Teacher of the Year.
That's good.
And Wetumpka, Alabama. They said she's been teaching 4th grade. She's been teaching for 25 years at Redland Elementary School, the majority of her career. Mm-hmm. And she's been at the school since 2009. And they got an article about her. And I just wanted to she was the WSFA 12 News Class Act winner award. She award winner. So she won that representing class of 94 in the black belt. So shout out to her. Very proud of her. And I just wanted to just kind of give her some love too. And also Space Academy for leading students in Alabama. I posted this earlier. They got an opportunity for that. It's a space camp. If you got 12 to 14 years old, please check that out. Great opportunity. Go ahead on. These are opportunities out there. And they can only say yes or no. So don't worry about it. It's a 50-50 chance. Put your name in the hat and allow them the chance. There'll be great opportunity for our kids. We just want to continue to put that out.
I wonder
there's more information on that, more to follow. As we get this information, we try to put it out so people can know that there are opportunities out there. I know that they also have some scholarships, different scholarships. I promise you, look, just go to Google. If you got a kid that's looking for scholarships, go to Google and just Google college scholarships. Google scholarships if you're trying to get trade school. They got grants out there if you're even trying to pay for your done CDL license. They got a lot of opportunities out there that you don't have to feel like that you don't have these opportunities. Yes, you got things that you have to overcome, but we got a lot that we can do for you. Not just us. It's a lot out there for them. Go ahead, Doug.
Hey, why don't we here on the Black Belt it's just a proposal. I know y'all gonna be all for it. Why don't we start giving out $500 scholarships to certain students for whatever performance or achievement that we say that they should meet? Because the Black Belt experience, we do make an impact on our city and on our community and on the county and abroad. So why don't, I feel as though it's time for us to step it up to that. It's time for us to step it up to that next level. What I mean by that is, it's time for us to go ahead and start a movement with the Black Belt experience, because there's more of us than it is them. And we do make an impact, not only physically or verbally, but as far as financial as well. So I think it's time for us. Well, I ain't gonna say what I think, but it's time for us to take it to that next level.
Me personally, I have no issue. My charge is I want the community to continue to come together and provide more opportunities for kids. Because what happens is people will start looking at certain people that they always expect them to do something when you can do your part too.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And I'm bringing that up because we got a basketball. Darrell Evans and Kim and other people, they run a basketball camp for kids during the summertime. And guess what? We can run that fully sponsored. As a community, we can sponsor that, where we just have kids sign up. You know what I'm saying? I remember growing up, we out there playing in Dixon League, in baseball league, and you have Save More, a business sponsor these kids stuff, and another business they playing a Piggly Wiggly team, and you playing another team. We need to get back to that right now as a community. And I challenge churches to come up on the net and don't just wait around. Start reaching out to these people, what we know, and say, hey, what do you need? We got the football team coming up. We got the Little League football team. They're gonna need pads, tackling equipment. We got folks during the season. We can buy water. We can buy Gatorade. We can buy a lot of stuff that we can just bring there. And if listen, and this is the point about it. If everybody do a little something, a lot of get done.
I agree.
If everybody do a little, even if only thing you can do, if you can just buy a $5.48 thing bottle of water from Walmart, then that's all you can do. If you do that, think about it. If we got 20 people that do that, think about how much water, how much Gatorade, or how much we'll have that our kids can benefit from.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And that's what it's about. And should be about what can we do to enhance. It's easy to complain. It's easy to have an opinion. But what are you going to do to add to? What are you going to do to add value to our community in whatever capacity that we can do? That's what we've been talking about. We talk about understanding the power of your vote.
Mm-hmm.
We have as a community, understanding all of these things, and then talking about these things so people don't try to talk over your head because they feel like you don't know what's going on. But the reality is there's a lot of stuff you can find out on Google, man. Google tell you a lot of stuff.
Right.
We can do that. We can do a lot more.
Information at the tip of our fingers. It wasn't like when I was a kid, was running around with them encyclopedias that was outdated with bad.
Hey, Michelle, I got a question for you, man. I got a question. You don't have to answer right now, and I know other people want to know too. See, when you retire from the military, would you consider coming back to the Black Belt, making an impact, making a difference? I would say run for political office, but I'm not gonna say that. I think you ain't gonna say what I think because it's not important. I mean, personally, I can see you doing a great job, and I can see you making a major impact because of the knowledge that you have attained so far. So what are your goals after you retire? Have you ever thought about running for a political office, or not necessarily running for political office, but coming back to the Black Belt to make an impact?
So I would say this: everybody that met me over the last 20 plus years know that Alabama, you will hear Alabama coming out of my mouth all the time. Currently, my goal is to come to Alabama next, be stationed in Alabama, be stationed up in Huntsville to be closer to home. And then as I prepare for retirement, the Black Belt is definitely strongly in my considerations. Alabama is a very military-friendly, retiree-friendly state. Ain't that right, Robert?
Amen.
And no, for real, they got a lot of good incentives.
Yes.
I haven't made a decision. I haven't even thought about political office. I'm just being honest with you. My whole thing is about impact and just empowering other people. Because at the end of the day, you know, some people, and some people like to be celebrated. I'm gonna go ahead and put that out there. Some people that leave home, they want to come home and be celebrated. I don't care nothing about that. What I care about is, you know, sharing information that I've been blessed to be exposed to during my time in the military. I realized that a lot of stuff that I was like, man, it was painful to go through. I look back on it and it was extremely helpful about organization management. And I wouldn't mind doing some consulting work to help build certain things. I've already done some of that, but I haven't thought about it hadn't been a goal of mine. Like, man, I want to come back and run for political office, but I am always going to continue to advocate for home, and that home be better than what it is now, and continue to be better for better opportunities for our kids. Because I think we got to realize where we at and what the possibilities the potential that we have in our area. One of the biggest things is we need more people to start farming more, man. I'm being honest with you. Like, really get into farming, really get into agriculture, because as we go to technology realm, what people are going to realize is, listen, they just opened up a McDonald's. I can't remember where it's at, but it's a McDonald's where it has 0 employees. It's 100% ran by robots.
That's the AI.
That's the AI.
AI era we're going into.
And when people need to realize that, you need to realize where them jobs gonna go. I'm telling you, we need to start looking at that. So we need to go back to, hey, we need those skills. We need those trade skills. We need agriculture skills. We need a lot of those skills that we can be employed and get income. Because guess what? Rent ain't going down. Guess what? Food ain't going down. Guess what? Trying to survive off $7 an hour, that ain't gonna cut it. You need to be able to have an income that's gonna be able to sustain you. So that's something to look at. And I just like to advocate for that. But we really appreciate everybody tonight, man, for rocking with us. What y'all got this week?
I'm gonna take vacation. I'm going home.
You gonna be at home? Yeah. Hey, and I shout out to my sister Tara. Her birthday tomorrow.
Yeah, we had a little party for Friday.
Happy birthday, Tara.
Yep. 9-5 in the building. What you got, Doug? What you got going on? Hey, you muted yourself.
Yeah. First, man, I just want to thank you guys, man. I just want to commend y'all, for doing a great job, man. And I want to commend y'all, like, for the 4 weeks I was laying flat on my back. I was still watching the show, You guys did an awesome job, man. I was kind of thinking, man, I don't need to go back, man, because they got the show on lock. You guys did an awesome job, man. That's holding it down, and you're still doing an awesome job. And I appreciate y'all guys a lot more than y'all know, man. Just by hearing some of the information and knowledge that y'all give, I also be getting educated as well. And I take a lot of stuff in, and I have used what I've heard Tab say, say Chef and Larry when he ain't on that other stuff. But though that have overall made me a better person, and I've applied it to my life. But as far as this week, man, I'm just going to lay low and just be wherever I'm needed, man. People call throughout the day and throughout the night, need this and need that, or need me here and there. And now that I'm able to move around somewhat, I'll just be wherever I needed to be. And before we get off the show, man, my daughter wanted to tell y'all hello. Yeah. Come on over here. This is my boss lady. Don't act shy, man. Come on over here. Come on, you can see yourself. You right there.
Hello. Hey, how you doing?
Next, tell me your name.
My name is Chloe.
You ain't said that right. Get over here.
My name is Chloe.
All right, baby girl. That's my boss lady right there. Yeah. That's who keep me on the go.
Hey, but again, man, for those for the Perry County Board of Education, I really feel like you need to listen to the parents on that Coach Lewis situation. Listen to the students. At the end of the day, it's your decision, but at least let them know that their voice was heard and respected. And it's not about you make the decision based on what you all feel as a board. We're not trying to tell you what decision that you need to make, but with those kids, I'm telling you, it make a difference. If those kids will at least feel like, you know what, they heard us out, because that's what I expect of my leadership. I don't expect my leadership to agree with me or change something because I like it. I just expect to be heard out. And come tell you right now, if I know you ain't gonna hear me out, oh, you done lost me. You done lost me. No, I'm dead serious because I know you ain't. You don't respect me.
Yeah. That's exactly.
So, and then listen, if those people don't want to listen to you, remember you put them in office. So remember when election time come around and you see that straight ticket vote, like no, I remember you. And this is the stuff that we got to talk about, because this is the stuff that impacts.
Everybody should have a platform. I hate the straight ticket voting thing too, because people that you didn't even know would run for office, they won. They just run. They were just because they was Democrat, or just because they were Republican. We need to start. That need to. I wonder how can they change that?
Well, I mean,
when you do that, go ahead, Chef.
No, our elected officials are the ones that push for it.
Mm-hmm.
They go around, hey, remember, straight ticket voting. They don't go around and say, hey, you know what? You need to go and talk to these people. You need to go leverage these different platforms to talk about, hey, look, I'm running. I mean, a lot of them, I saw that my first time knowing that they were running for office.
Right.
You know, when you do that, man, when you encourage people to vote straight ticket or straight Democrat or whatever, you cheat the people, because you know deep within your heart that that person is not qualified, nor do that person deserve to be in there. So you really cheat the people. So go ahead, Tad. What did you say?
And you plan against their ignorance because they don't understand.
Yes. So me personally, I encourage people, don't ever vote straight ticket. If you don't know nothing about a candidate, research. You have time to research who these individuals are, and sometimes, oftentimes you have better candidates in the other party. And that's how I vote. I don't vote Democrat or Republican. I vote for the person that have my best interests in mind, and that I align my morals and my values up with. That's how I vote. I would never vote straight Democrat.
And if you have questions or you got concerns, participate in these town halls. Go to where these people are speaking. Go to where these people work. Go and talk to these people and see. Because one thing is to be something on paper, but when you get a person in the face, then you get a chance and you ask the questions, the hard questions. Then you get a true sense, a snapshot of their character from how they answer the question. We all can write a good resume, and then when you get on the job and don't do what you're supposed to do, I encourage you to go out there and meet them in the streets, or petition them to have a town hall meeting for all these people that that's sitting in these offices that just got there just by chance that they just ran with the Democratic Party or they ran with the Republican Party. Let's challenge the knife. Let's see how sharp these knives are. Because one thing about it, if they're not sharp, they will be sharp the next time. All we got to do is, when we realize that the power remains in the people, and that the power, because we are a democratic society here, and we use the tools that are available for us, then we can control who's in the White House. We can control who's in the State House. But until we get to that point, we are continuously going to be having the same conversation. We can control who's over that board. We can control who's over this education system. We need to learn how to strategize and how to protest peacefully. We do, we do it in Demopolis all the time. When something ain't right, all of us go down to the Rooster building and we go there and we argue our case. Yes, sir.
No, I'm about to say this. When you go into the most affluent neighborhoods of these public schools, where you have the medium household, the medium value of the homes is like $700,000, over $500,000. They go to the school board. They go and their voices are heard based off of how things impact their kids. They have resources. And we talked about last week about the different stuff that they have at the schools. When you go to these private schools, guess what those private schools do? Those private schools listen to those parents because the parents are the ones that pay.
Right.
But when we have lower income public schools, there's no real participation. Because guess what? When we have these meetings and these things, nobody really go in. So these school board officials get it in their mind that the people gonna do what we want them to do instead of vice versa, vote for the best interests of the people. And that's what we're just at on anything. And I'm telling you, we can do that. We can do that. Go ahead, Doug.
No, you pretty much touched on it.
And we will.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the point about it. And it can happen. And it's not a seismic shift. It's just a small thing.
We will.
Man, I was just looking at the weather here for the next 2 weeks. We supposed to get some snow about 4 days, projected snow going into April up here. So some rain and snow. I think the high is gonna get is about 50 degrees here. What's the weather like down there for you guys?
I think it's about.
I think we ain't that far from you as far as temperature wise. We ain't that far.
It ain't warm outside at all.
Hey, so let me add tab something on this show too, man. I'm gonna ask you now. If you gonna still cook them good steaks and make that salad and all that stuff for the Mayday for our senior citizens?
Over the citizen, I don't know. And you just this is not the place where you supposed to be asking me that.
Man, I done told them people you supposed to be cooking them thick, juicy steaks and making the salad and the fruit bowl.
Spatula then. If you had told them people that.
So y'all see how we go behind the scenes now. This is what.
Yeah, all right. Hey man, but we have fun and go at it. We fuss, we argue, but guess what? It's still number love and respect. We gonna always respect each other. That's it, love and respect.
These my brothers here.
But hey, we really thank you guys. Thank you so much. Look forward to you guys seeing you guys again next week. Y'all have a blessed and wonderful week. God bless.
Peace. Hey, did I throw it?